Hurricane coverage continues on the Weather Channel.
Howling winds hit Nassau, Bahamas. The region is getting hit hard by Hurricane Francis at this hour.
Francis is heading towards Florida. You're already getting some pretty high winds as well as some heavier rains. A live report is coming from there next.
And hello and welcome back to Afternoon Outlook. I'm Kristen Dodd.
And I'm Vivian Brown. Of course, we continue to track Hurricane Francis. It's now a Category 3. Yesterday at this time a Category 4, but it's still a major hurricane, and its impact will certainly be felt in southeast Florida as we go through the next 12 hours or so. It's currently about 195 miles east of Miami, and Florida definitely getting the brunt of this system as we go through the next 24 hours. Our latest radar picture does show some of the outer feeder bands now as it all wraps around that low pressure center, the hurricane, in a counterclockwise fashion. So winds are starting to pick up, and so are the rain bands.
And joining us now live from Orlando is Stephanie Abrams. And Stephanie, Orlando already had to deal with Charley. Now it looks like Francis is heading your way. What's the latest there?
Kristen and Vivian, the latest here is that people are trying to still clean up from Charley to prepare for Francis because they're worried about all the leftover debris from Charley turning into projectiles once Francis starts affecting the area. We're here at a debris collection site, and I'd like to bring in the project manager of this debris collection site, Chuck McClendon. Thank you for being with us. And project manager, that means you're basically in charge of everything going on here. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
My first question for you is, the community has really come together here. Tell me a little bit about the community and how they have just made this such an effort to get everything cleaned up.
Well, there's a real sense of urgency right now, obviously, with the amount of debris that's still out on the streets, and with the the potential landfall of Hurricane Francis. We're doing everything we can to. We've opened up 3 of these residential debris sites for the community to come in and drop their debris off. We've also gotten a tremendous amount of support from the city, and many of their city employees are actually out here helping us today.
And how long will you guys be open tonight, and how long will you stay open so that people can continue to bring debris in here? It usually takes, what, 6 to 12 weeks to do something we have to do in 3 weeks here.
Yeah, we've made a tremendous amount of progress in the last 2 to 3 weeks, and this site will be open till 7 o'clock tomorrow. We're going to have some other activities and doing everything we can to get as much of that debris off the street within the next 24 to 48 hours.
Okay, thank you so much for being with me. I really appreciate it. Stay safe as well.
Thank you.
Once things start to become not as pretty as they are right now. And Kristen and Vivian, things are looking nice right now. Excuse me, Mike, we're going to head down to you in a minute. Things are looking good here in Orlando as of right now, but we do anticipate downhill over the next several hours as Francis continues to progress towards the U.S. mainland. Now I'm going to toss it down to Mike Seidel in Palm Beach. How's it going down there? Are you seeing any bad weather yet, Mike?
We had one rain band, Stephanie, roll through here about 3:30 this afternoon. 0.4 of an inch of rain and wind gusts anywhere between 40 and 50 miles an hour. Already some reports of power outages south of here, down around Broward, Fort Lauderdale, over towards Miami-Dade, where they had a gust of nearly 50 miles an hour. And as we continue on through this afternoon, we'll keep you posted on those winds. We expect more wind as we roll on through tonight and tomorrow with those feeder bands coming in. Take a look at the tides now, and notice the high tides are going to be coming up a little after midnight and also a little after noon tomorrow. Right now, we expect the storm to make land, if it makes landfall north of here, a surge of, say, 2 to 4 feet on top of the high tide. That's if it comes in at high tide. It could be higher, though, if the storm comes in south of here. We'll just have to see where Francis ends up. Again, one rain band the radar. You can see another one coming in from the Bahamas, due in here about another 2 hours. Vivian, Kristen?
Okay, thank you very much. That's Mike Seidel at West Palm Beach.
Preparing to get wet.
Okay, let's show you the latest satellite picture because, yeah, all of those rain bands are starting to feed in right along the southeast coast of Florida. I also want to point out now that there are hurricane warnings in effect for the northwestern Bahamas, and they've been extended now from Florida City just south of Miami all the way to Florida. Flagler Beach. That's just north of West Palm Beach where Mike is. And we also have Fernandino Beach under tropical storm warnings at this time. So it's a major thing that we are definitely continuing to watch very, very closely for you. I certainly hope that you have followed the evacuation orders. And I do want to point out that when we say evacuate, we don't necessarily mean you have to get up and leave Florida, but you do need to leave your home if it's on the ocean front and go to one of the designated shelters in your area. You want to make sure that's safe from this very, very dangerous hurricane. In fact, winds have been pretty powerful so far. We've had hurricane force winds extend out from the center about 80 miles or so, and then tropical storm force winds extending out a good 180 miles. And there you could see some of the stronger winds starting to brush up along the coast here of southeast Florida already. Now, when are we expecting the center of the storm to move onshore? Sometime tomorrow morning in southeast Florida, we think. But of course, the center is just a point, and we don't deal with just a point. We deal with the entire system. So you'll start to feel the effects of Frances before the actual center of circulation comes onshore. In fact, here's an example already, as we've had already, again, some of those rain bands coming in along the southeast coast, and winds have been gusting at times to over 40 miles an hour down toward Miami. And you could see some of those bands in southeast Florida already.
That's right. We're going to continue to watch as it moves in. The outer rain bands now heading into central Martin County. Tropical storm force winds coming into that region at this hour.
Here is the latest information on Hurricane Frances. The 5 o'clock advisory from the National Center does put the storm 175 miles east of Miami now, with winds of 115, so it's still a Category 3, very, very strong hurricane. It's moving to the west to northwest at 8 miles an hour. Hurricane Frances is impacting travel in a big way at the start of this Labor Day weekend. The Orlando International Airport shut down at noon today. The Orlando Sanford Airport and the Kissimmee Gateway Airport also closed today. The Melbourne Airport shut down last night and remains closed. If you were flying into Florida this weekend, most airlines, though, are allowing you to make changes without any penalties. Now, here's Kristen with more on travel conditions.
And it's a big Labor Day weekend. A lot of folks are going to be taking to the roadways. We want to show you what you can expect, not only in the roads, but also at the airports. And if you're heading in and out of Detroit, we do have a few showers, but that's not expected to cause any delays at the airport. Houston, delays with thunderstorms in your forecast for this evening. An isolated storm in Denver, but it doesn't look like it's going to be slowing things down. Out at the Mile High City, things are looking just fine. Well, if you're going to be traveling on Florida's roadways, you need to be aware of the fact that we do have flood watches in effect over a large area, meaning the potential for flooding with very, very heavy rains that will come sweeping on shore Florida as Hurricane Frances makes its approach overnight tonight and also through tomorrow. Here's a look at what you can expect. We're looking at Saturday morning now. Interstate 95 will be inundated with rain. Also, if you're going to be taking the turnpike, you're looking at rain in your forecast as well. Also, some strong winds even at this hour in Martin County for areas, say, for Hobe Sound. Also for Port St. Lucie, we are looking at winds gusting to 40 and 50 miles an hour as outer rain bands are now making their approach to Martin and Lucie County, so watch out for that. Now, as we head through time and head northward, we're going to be taking interstate heading west. Perhaps you're going to be heading west trying to get away from Hurricane Frances. Notice how the weather does improve dramatically along I-10, so looking much better. Also, we do have word now from the St. Pete area. If you're looking for hotel space, Tradewinds has room in the St. Pete area, so that may be one area you may want to make a move toward. Now, for Denver, earlier we did have some scattered showers across your area. Things look like they will be improving across Denver, so looking better along I-70 as you're heading out on your Saturday morning. Now, scattered storms once again will be possible as we're looking along Interstate 94 heading north out of Minneapolis. Indianapolis, and also if you're going to be taking, say, I-70, making your way across Kansas, also I-80 on your trip from, say, Des Moines over toward the panhandle of Nebraska. Scattered storms will be in your forecast for tomorrow morning. But by far, the most rain, the strongest winds, and the worst traveling conditions will be across Florida tomorrow. Also looking at Interstate 4, heading in and out of Orlando, making your way along the coast, making your way possibly up toward Jacksonville. That's where you're going to be seeing some heavy rain, and also looking at the potential for some flooding rain as well. That's a look at the latest travel conditions. Now with more on your fan forecast, here's Vivian.
Well, many college football games will kick off this Saturday, and Fridays we usually do check out your fan forecast, but today, because of Hurricane Frances, let's tell you about some disappointed fans. Florida Gator fans will have to wait until October 16th to take on Middle Tennessee. Monday night's Miami Hurricane Florida State game will now be played on Friday, September 10th. And there will be no Marlins Cubs game tonight at Pro Player Stadium. Now, you may be thinking of getting away this Labor Day weekend to the beach. Let's go to Kristen. She has a look at your forecast.
And let's check it out. First of all, if you're going to be heading out in Florida, you know, you have been watching the reports for the past few days. This is the latest coming in to us on Hurricane Frances, the 5 o'clock advisory, with the maximum sustained winds continuing at 115 miles an hour, movement to the west-northwest at 8 miles an hour. So still slow movement here and very strong winds as it heads over the Bahamas. That will be the scenario for the rest of tonight. Of course, it is inching its way closer to southeastern Florida, so you're going to see some stronger winds moving onshore now in the West Palm Beach area, and even stronger as you're heading out for tomorrow. Here's the look at your forecast then as we take you from Frances through the rest of your Sunday, and then checking out your holiday, heading out into Cape Cod, looking at nice sunny skies for your Labor Day weekend. Sunday, too, we'll see sunshine. Temperatures holding a little bit on the cool side, though, at 69. Atlantic City could see some rain on your Sunday, and 76 degrees.
Okay, well, we'll be back with more on Hurricane Frances and what's being done in Florida to prepare for the hurricane.
And here's a look at some of the latest wind gusts coming in, those being reported the strongest in West Palm Beach. We'll have an update in a moment.